Hey guys, we're back for round 5. Time had to leave, so I'm here with,
Dave Duran, how's it going, everyone?
and we're gonna see Brian Atkins on Temur Nexus versus me again with 4-color and explosion.
An explosion.
Explosion.
Oh, sounds even spicy.
Yeah, I like it better than just like 4-color Nexus. Although that will be the YouTube title, because no one's gonna type in explosion on YouTube.
And if they do, something else might pop up.
Right? Yeah, it might be just like a little weird. But yeah, so this is
You hit him with the spicy 12? Nice.
the cut.
The dice roll.
Oh, I was like, wait, what? I was like, did I like? Because I'm known to just like do weird cuts randomly. I'm like, did I cut his deck into 12 spots or something?
Oh no, that would have been weird.
Yeah, no, I've done that before though. Like, I'm just like pile shuffled my opponent's deck for no reason.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Well, it looks like you got a hand of double absorb. We got a steam vents, a wilderness, sacred foundry, a glacial fortress, and an op. That looks like.
I think so.
And then on the other side, we got Brian. There was a stomping ground. It looked like a Sulphur Falls. I saw a Niv Mizzet in there a second ago also. He's about to fan through his hand. Looks like a growth spiral and an expansion explosion as well. Maybe a couple of Innistrad Hinterland Harbors. I could be mistaken.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I can't really see his hand. I just know from doing commentary to like flash my hand, like almost lay it flat, but to where my opponent can't see it. But
Looks like he drew another growth spiral for the turn.
right, and that is a card that I do not play. I'm very light in my green.
Huh. Well, why do you feel to not play the growth spiral and just the wilderness reclamation basically then for your green?
Just Wilderness Reclamation combos with the deck really well.
Yeah, of course.
And I just don't have a lot of green in the deck. This is really interesting that I countered here.
Well, yeah, I can understand that. You have the other absorb.
Right.
You don't want him to advance. You still want to
Correct.
get your reclamation off first. Even though I agree, you just could have played your reclamation or countered the reclamation in general. I mean, I'm sorry. When Brian plays his, I also probably would not have played the growth spiral right now on Brian's
main
turn.
phase, yeah.
Yeah, during his main phase, I probably would have waited. Especially with something like that, it's better to leave up that you probably have a response, and then here you end
Right,
up playing
'cause-
Wilderness Reclamation.
Yeah, I probably don't go for the Wilderness Reclamation if he has 3 lands up.
Yeah, exactly.
But I did help him with, because he kind of just showed up on Friday and goes, help me throw this list together.
Oh, so you already had some.
I had some idea of
You had
like,
some secret squirrel insight.
right, knowing that he didn't have a lot of counter spells main board.
Gotcha.
Like, especially because I know he's not playing on white. So
Yeah.
he doesn't have the possibility of having.
So here you make a very interesting play. So I have no idea why you didn't E2 for your Sacred Foundry and slam your Teferi.
Because he had 4 mana up, I was expecting him to just counter it. I'd rather just draw 2 at this point and then end step and then pass.
Yeah, I guess if he's playing Ionize,
Right, and I think
or has the 1 or 2 main deck negate, so I guess that's a fine call.
right.
I personally probably would have slammed the Teferi, strictly based on the fact that he didn't counter my Wilderness Reclamation on the previous turn.
Well, yeah, because he couldn't, because he only had 2 mana up.
Yeah.
So the fact that he had 3 was just like.
Well, then he
you know.
doesn't have the negate.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Here you got Absorb for his other Reclamation.
Yeah, doing commentary
Another
on your
growth
own,
spiral.
right. Yeah, doing commentary on your own game is sometimes really weird because you don't see certain plays. Like, I just didn't go for the Teferi because I was like, I don't want it to get ionized.
No, yeah, that's understandable. And I can respect that. You don't want to waste the Teferi and then just kind of be spinning your wheels for a minute while he's kind of progressively advancing his board state. In the meantime, Brian did play another Growth Spiral here. He has a Niv Mizzet, looks like a Chemister's Insight. Hitting you with Niv Mizzet, I think it's going to be pretty good, but you have the Teferi.
Right, and by not playing it last turn and making sure you didn't have the Ionize this turn, I did get rewarded for it, in a sense.
Yeah.
Just being able to play it like almost completely for free.
Yeah, you just made a little bit of the conservative play. I don't have a whole lot of experience playing from this side of the table, but like I said, I can completely understand that perspective.
Right, and then I do get to cast Nexus here, and I guess there's a point where I'm probably just gonna have to be like, hey, I have Nexus plus Explosion. Do you want to scoop? It's not yet though. I need more lands.
Yeah, it's probably going to be like 10 minutes from now.
Right, yeah, I need more lands or I need a Primal Amulet.
Yeah, but you have some gas, you have a Revitalize. You're, of course, going to cast, take your extra turn with the untap. Yeah, this is usually how it goes with this deck now.
Right, yeah, you just kind of go until you can't anymore.
What is that? Room for that opt.
That is a Sanguine Sacrament.
What is that?
So it's X white. You gain X
is
life
that the
times
X,
2.
okay.
Yes,
all right,
you gain X
all right,
life times
all right.
2. So that plus Primal Amulet is just like when you're playing against Burn, or even if you're playing against Burn, you have 7 lands and you do it for 5, and you gain 10.
You gain,
like that's just like Burn can't do that.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, that's understandable. That's pretty spicy.
Yeah, the only problem is I only own 2 Nexus, so I don't have a lot of. I don't draw into Nexus a lot.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm playing this like 4-color, weird, janky version of the deck.
Yeah, you're just like a pirate. You're just playing with a eye patch now.
Right. Yeah, I just try to throw the deck together just so I could play.
Yeah, it's understandable. Sometimes you want to just jam some Friday Night Magic with your buddies. Like, nothing wrong with that at all.
Right, and I'm going to be playing Modern more coming up, just because I'm going to be playing Modern for the team event, and I don't play Modern a lot.
Yeah, no, that's definitely understandable. You got to brush up on your formats. Formats are rotating at a constant rate. Decks adjusting. People getting acclimated the new trends, etc. So you always got to stay on your toes, especially Modern and Standard. Standard definitely more than late now.
Right. And so pretty much all that's happening here is Brian's going to start spinning his wheels now. That's just what we do. That's what this matchup is. We go back and forth and spinning our wheels and see who can get there first, right?
Yeah. Brian's got the Niv Mizzet, though, so I kind of like his side of the table on this.
Right.
I think if he draws... Let's see, he could possibly accelerate again. I can't see him drawing a 4th Growth Spiral here unless he's just that good. But he does have the Niv Mizzet. I definitely feel like you have to play that right now. And knock down the Teferi, forcing you to play it and then slamming the other Niv Mizzet. It looks like he does have a 2nd copy. Oh, he just has Krasis. Okay.
That works.
Yeah, Krasis definitely works. Yeah, you're not going to put that back on top with Teferi all too willingly.
Yeah.
And yeah, Brian had messaged me about this deck on Saturday. I was saying like right before we started this recording. And I kind of told him I felt like Bant is where you kind of want to be, but at the same time, this list has a little more like pliability in the mirror. Strictly because Niv Mizzet does give you that out if your opponent doesn't have the Teferi to bounce it right away. And so you've answered their Teferis. You're at least going to kill it with the Niv Mizzet.
Right.
Or you can get to a position where you can play the Niv Mizzet and like opt, and then take down the Teferi to a point where they can't necessarily minus it and then tuck it under. So that was one of the things that I had said that I did like about the list. But aside from that, in general about this, I do feel like Bant is where you want to be.
Right, yeah, and I know a lot of the Bant decks are also like splashing red to play explosion anyway. Not all of them, but there's been a lot, especially a lot of the players who play here.
Just a lot of people playing Gift of Paradise in general. That card just allows you to splash other colors you need to, especially with Growth Spiral. The Shocklands being in the format now too, with the Checklands, gives you the ability to just have perfect mana to play whatever you really feel comfortable with or whatever you really want to in the format.
Right. I see 2 Primal Amulets.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yep, double Primal Amulet.
Which sucks to bottom 1, but it doesn't really matter. I just really need to see one of them. Yeah, now that I have 2 Wilderness Reclamations out, like it doesn't really matter what I'm doing.
Yeah, you float a bunch of mana, get a bunch of Primal Amulet activations.
Right, and essentially here I'm just making sure that I know what mana I have up, and he knows as well, so we don't get confused. Make sure I have enough red to cast Explosion plus Nexus and whatnot.
Yeah. You're not a fan of the Pokemon energy?
I just don't have any. And plus I played 0 basics in my deck.
Oh, okay.
So playing the basics as my tokens for the land, it's fine.
Yeah. Also, just for people watching this, always be wary of doing that. Make sure there are marked if you're in a competitive RL event. Or check with the head judge, of course, before having those in your deck box, because if you do get deck checked and they are like that, even though they're different sleeves, what have you, that will be having extra cards or access extra cards on the side. So just be knowledgeable about that. Just everyone watching this also.
Right. Yeah. If I was at a big event, I would be playing the Pokemon. I would go out and go get some Pokemon energy or something.
Yeah. Or hit up the arcade post booth or
something. But here, I really just bring these for the feature match to represent it.
Yeah, of course. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Concept purposes.
Yeah, especially because
and just keeping track of simply FNM tournament, weekly event, what have you. Play testing. Always make sure you're keeping track of that.
Right, and especially because with especially with arcade post tokens, they don't show up on the stream. Otherwise, I would have got those when I was at the last tournament I went to, because this is the deck I've been wanting to play.
No, I gotcha.
And yeah, the arcade post tokens they look like black-white blobs. It almost looks like white, and then just someone took red or black ink and just kind of splattered it all over them.
Gotcha. So what do we got for the sideboards if you're going into game 2?
So I know I'm bringing in a bunch of cards because Nexus is one of the worst matchups for me. Funny because I'm playing Nexus, right?
Yeah, just the mirror match.
Right, I don't, we don't have sideboards on Fridays just because it's just a hassle to try to get everyone to write them. People can't even write their life totals down correctly, so, I mean, it's too much to ask of them.
Right, your life total is down correctly, guys. Maintain accurate board state.
Some people just I put these out for them to write their life totals, and then they just don't write on it. And I'm like, write on these because I need them for reference for when I'm doing this. But basically, I'm taking out my fogs.
Yeah,
my
your root snares, your settle. I mean, you guys probably have similar dead cards.
Right.
I imagine.
Yeah, so the cards I'm bringing in one Devious Cover Up, just one of the cards that I added in, Exiles.
Yeah, up to 4 copies of a spell when it counters, correct?
No, it exiles the card. Counter target spell, exile that card, and then it's shuffle up to 3 cards from your graveyard into your hand.
Okay.
So especially if my Sanguine Sacrament or Expansion Explosion gets countered, having Devious Cover Up to put them back in. Not necessarily Sanguines, because I do believe I take Sanguines out in this matchup. It's just there's no reason to have it in.
Yeah, it's for the aggro decks.
Right. Because I only play 2 Expansion Explosions, being able to shuffle those back in, or shuffle Primal Amulets back in, or search for Escanto or whatnot. I bring in my second search. I bring in 2 Syncopates, 3 Negates, and 1 Electrodominance.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, so I was originally playing Banefire in that slot in the board, but Banefire is sorcery, so I can never untap with those Reclamations and then cast it unaccountable.
Yeah, understandable.
And so with Electrodominance, you could do that and then like end step play a Teferi.
Yeah.
Right? Like my opponent's like tapped out because of their Wilderness Reclamation. I'm gonna respond with an Electro Dominance for like 5 and then play Teferi off of it, and then it's essentially an uncounterable Teferi.
Yeah. Yeah, seems solid.
Especially because Teferi's so big in this matchup.
Oh yeah, that's pretty much how the control matchups are in this format lately. Even in Modern, the control mirrors, it's whoever's leveraging their Teferi properly.
Right. Yeah, my hand's just lands and Teferis and Chemisters. Like, my hand is not...
Very, very slow hand.
Right.
Brian's got a Nexus. Looks like he's got a grip of lands over here. A couple Nexus, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. It's...
Niv Mizzet off the top.
Niv, looks like
Expansion
Niv.
Explosion.
Those Crassus? Is there a Crassus in there, I think?
It looks like that's a Crassus, or is that 3 Nexus?
I'm not 100% sure.
I thought it looked like he was siding out some number of Crasai between the games.
Yeah, no, we were talking... Oh, so that was a Gross Spiral, that's what it was. We were talking after this match, and he's like, I felt like I boarded out Crassus in every matchup, and it just doesn't need to be in the deck.
Yeah, I think that card's absolutely busted. And
right.
I know, like, the 2 that they play, like 2 to 3, it's fine. It could be a little bit clunky with Niv Mizzet.
Right.
I think you probably like want to kill off Niv Mizzet on the same clip.
Right. And so the one interesting thing that I was really weary about boarding was when I was boarding in negates, because he plays 4 Frilled Mystic.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting because he's playing Niv, so he needs double green, double blue, double red.
Yeah.
Or triple red, triple blue. Like that's just insane, right? Like but it's not that hard. I mean, we have the lands. Like, I'm playing no basics because who plays Field of Ruin in Standard anymore? No one.
No one. And I can totally see some decks making that a comeback. Probably in the Esper matchup, maybe just one. Even though the mana in that deck's like kind of similar situation, is really bad. Yeah, I don't know. I feel right now personally in Standard too, just from like where I like to be playing side of the table, I'd be playing one of the aggressive monocolored decks.
Right.
Just in general. I wouldn't want to slog through like 15 rounds of a Grand Prix having to play this mirror match.
I would never play this at a Grand Prix or an Open.
Yeah.
I'm playing it because it's Friday Night Magic.
Yeah, of course.
I almost never take control to an Open or a GP ever because I need time to go to the bathroom, eat, and smoke. Like.
Yep. All right, so we got a Gift of Paradise. Looks like you got a negate for this one.
No, Radical Idea.
Radical Idea.
I'm gonna try to find a
counterspell.
Yeah. And I
do
find Syncopate, but it's way too much mana. But the nice thing is that I do have Syncopate for a Nexus if he taps wrong in any way.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he won't, but
you do have the ability to Teferi also. You're going to Revitalize. This does answer the question too, like we were saying in the last game. The versions with Gift of Paradise have a little more flexibility in the colors they splash. This also is a payoff for, like we were saying with Brian, how Frilled Mystic needing double green, double blue, and then like we see with the Niv Mizzet, triple blue, triple red.
Right, and also having the Gift of Paradise when you're not playing white, you don't have to play Revitalize. Whereas I feel like Revitalize takes the place of Gift in the Bant decks.
Yep.
And so I'm responding to the Niv cast here because I want to draw my cards and not have to take damage.
Yeah, not have to get shocked. Very understandable. Right here, he's got the negate mana up for Teferi. It seems like he's in a pretty commanding spot right now.
Right, and I'm also just like, I'm looking at this Chemist's Insight and wondering if I should, what I should discard to cast the Chemisters. And I think I'm guess I'm going for the Absorb. I was going to say I was going to think the Syncopate. I do see a Dawn of Hope. And I say it once I draw it, I go, this isn't supposed to be, that's supposed to side it out.
Yeah, you also want that in like the aggro matchups.
Right, yeah, I play one main, one side, so I don't really remember what I do here. If I just pass or
Well, you have the ability right here to play Teferi and
hold up-
minus
and hold up
and
Syncopate,
if
right?
and Syncopate for 1 if he negates, which it looks like that's what you're tapping for to do. That's probably where I would be right now. Negate,
Yeah, I have to wait for the
trust,
trigger.
Syncopate
right.
for 1. Draw trigger. And this is all in response to Teferi too, so
Right,
he
yeah.
can't even deal the damage to it.
Yeah, and at this point, I'm just like, please don't have another one in hand.
Yeah,
Like-
if he rips another one right here, it's pretty out of control. There's another negate. He has the ability to just Nexus of Fate though.
Right, but that does shuffle his.
But yeah, it shows his Teferi back, but he's got
Or
his
his,
Niv Mizzet
Niv
back.
Mizzet.
But he has 3 of them in his hand. He could just burn them to time lock himself for a minute.
Right, and that's
It-
the one thing I was like kind of like hoping by tucking the Niv
That he'll just shuffle it away in general.
or
and
no,
save
that
your Teferi.
even if he doesn't even if he either he shuffles it away, saves my Teferi,
Okay.
or he doesn't cast Nexus because he wants to draw it.
Gotcha.
What my thought process is.
All right.
Process was my thought process. Man, I can't speak sometimes. Because either way, like it's kind of a win-win, lose-lose for me.
You're making him
you know?
burn it regardless,
Right.
And you're still kind of saving the Teferi. Here we see Frilled Mystic.
Which again is why I was really debating if I should bring in all 3 negates or not. Because Frilled Mystic, just like, that's cool. It's
Yeah,
a counter spell on a stick, right?
Yeah, that card's great. It was one of the cards that I thought was really sweet when it got spoiled. I played Mystic Snake when it was in Standard, so that was one of my favorite cards of all time. So seeing Frilled Mystic, I was like, this is really sweet. If the Bant mid-range deck, like if I felt a little more comfortable with it, I would probably play it just so I can play that card because I like the basis of it a lot. I think it's pretty balanced too in this format right now.
Right. Yeah. The nice thing is like in like the elf deck, I know they're playing the pod creature, whatever her name is.
Vanifar.
Vanifar. And like they can't do it at instant speed, so that's like really helpful.
Yeah. Oh, if you can instant speed into Frilled Mystic off Vanifar, that would be ridiculous.
Right. Yeah. No, I was like really dumb when I was playing against it last time, and I'm like, I didn't cast a settle because I was like, oh, you could totally do that at instant speed, and then I remembered before like I said like no blocks or before I said damage, and I'm like, can I read Vanifar real quick? And I'm like, okay, cast settle. And he's like, oh yeah. I'm like, cool. I almost made a huge mistake and I didn't, but I play the Primal Amulet. It gets countered with Frilled Mystic.
Yeah. Speaking of the devil,
and yeah, and then I'm playing this Dawn of Hope, which I'm gonna tell him after that this is the card I was supposed to board out. But he goes
has
ahead and
negate
just
anyway.
counters it.
and you have Syncope, which frails in comparison to 3 untap mana right now.
Right. I guess he was trying to like.
He's just trying to pressure the Teferi, I feel.
Right. Yeah. Make sure that he kills my Teferi with his Frilled Mystic. I guess is what his plan was there.
Yeah, of course, which is the right play.
Right.
He's got the double Nexus up. He can still attack here, waste a Nexus if he wants, take another turn.
Right. And I still have the second Teferi in my hand, so
Yeah.
I'm okay with you getting rid of this Teferi here.
Yeah, he has negate back up also if you
Right.
happen to have a negate back.
Right. I have a Nexus and another Syncopate. I think I have in hand.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's not
2
real great,
lands, yeah,
right?
a couple bricks, but it's playable if he just passes. I think I probably would have played a Nexus of Fate just knowing I have the other one still as backup.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I guess because he does have the negate back.
Yeah.
up, right. Yeah.
There's really nothing that he's losing by doing that.
Other than me having like double negate and him being tapped out, but that's
Yeah, you can't even do it though with your 2 untap land. You could Syncopate for 1 if you have the negate. I mean, it's whatever. You gotta search for Escanta.
yeah.
Possibly, is he debating if he wants to negate here, just allowing it?
Yeah, I think he's pondering, not literally, but pondering what he wants to do.
Probably just Chemister's insight.
Yeah, he's gonna Chemister's in response, and
he allowed the Ascanta. I think it looks like you pass. Is this an end phase Chemister's?
I'm honestly not too sure.
Got some expansion explosion copy. Then
Yes.
He's gonna negate your. He's gonna allow it. It's not gonna negate the expansion explosion.
And I did that to draw a negate and another search. And I'm like, yeah, that resolves. And
So you're gonna do it again? Yep.
yeah. And now that I have like negate and all this, I'm just pondering like, do I want him to draw two? But obviously we know now that he has two Nexus in hand.
Yeah.
But on my side of the table, I'm going, I don't want him to have more Nexus, right? Because I need to go off.
Yeah.
And this search is going to help me do that, is all I'm thinking, right?
Yeah, you don't know he has the other negate. Even like I said, like I thought he might want to negate the other expansion explosion just so he's leaving you off of having counter spells. I could also see wanting to save the negate for the Teferi though, as well as a primal amulet.
Right.
So there's saving the negate was probably the right thing to do. Frill Mystic getting in, passing the turn.
I wonder what he saw there. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we're gonna find out. You're gonna flip the Ascanta. Primal Amulet.
Yep. Key part of this deck. Very hard to resolve it against all these decks, all the other Nexus decks.
Yeah, the 1,000,000 mana, 8 counter spell
right.
deck.
Especially when if I'm casting like counter spells with Primal Amulet on the stack and I'm not flipping it off those counter spells, it really just sucks.
Yeah, you're wasting gas for it.
But it does resolve, which
Yeah.
is really nice because it turns my negate into a 1-drop counter target spell. Or counter target non-creature spell, obviously, but
Yeah, so throw the Wilderness Reclamation out there. Get a hit with this negate.
yeah, I'm counting his lands going, how many times can he Nexus with that, essentially? Or, actually, sorry, I was counting to see if he had enough to kill me off of Explosion.
Yeah, I think you just
With an
snap
untap?
counter the Reclamation here.
Yeah, I try to. And trigger my Primal Amulet. I hope I don't miss that. I'd be sad if I did.
So you want to negate back here? No.
He has another Wilderness Reclamation in hand.
Yeah, I think you just... Okay. Here he negates.
And I'm counting his lands because I have the spell, or the Syncopate.
And yeah, it's going to resolve.
Yeah, and this is where it's just rough for me, right?
Yeah, he's just going to float 6 at end phase, untap. Nexus for an additional 1 for 7. Yeah.
And
He's got like 15 cards left in his deck.
right. And I think at some point I probably look at the clock and go, do you have Explosion in your hand?
Yeah. Yeah, just to save time.
Right.
Which is obviously the right call. That's something that a lot of people don't realize.
Correct.
When they're in these type of matchups too, is you gotta conserve clock time.
Right. And a lot of times, like, if you kind of have to specify, like, hey, do you have Explosion in your hand? Like, obviously your opponents have to answer you and go, hey, do you have Explosion in your hand? If you do, and you show it to me, I will scoop.
Yes.
We will go to another game. You got to specify that because they're like, oh, well, what if I show you and then you just have free information, right?
Yeah, exactly. Also, you can't collude your opponent into scooping like that as well. So
Correct.
be wary of it from both sides of the table.
Right. Yeah, but I'll probably get up and be like, oh, there's like 12 minutes on the clock or something like that. I'm like, yeah, you got 12 mana.
Yeah.
What you gonna do with it?
Floats 12. put another 12 in the pool.
Yeah, and
No, just waste the Nexus.
There's Steve's kid standing next to me asking me if we found his hat or his backpack. He lost his backpack. I felt really bad for him.
Oh man, that's rough.
I don't know if he actually ever found it, but he was asking us. He was really polite.
That's real sad.
Yeah, I hope he got it back.
I do too, because if anyone jacked that kid's backpack, they're a scumbag.
Right, and then here you see me get up and look at and I go, "Do you have explosion?" And I'm like, "Cool, let's go to game 3."
Yeah.
Right. I looked up and there was 12 minutes on the clock.
Yeah.
So I was like, can either of us win in 12 minutes? Probably, but
we're gonna find out.
Yeah.
All right, so it definitely looks like Brian probably brought in like 4 negates. Saw 3 of them there. Don't know what the rest of his board was.
I know he had like a Vivian Reed in his board, a Spyglass in his board.
I probably would have snap brought in the Spyglass for sure.
Yep. Oh, sorry, gotta switch. Yeah, it's too long of a match, so it cuts into 2.
No, it's like
Yeah.
Vivian Reed. Yeah, I wouldn't trust it. Maybe if he had some sort of instant speed interaction, enchantment removal, I could see bringing that in for sure.
Right. Yeah. No, I wasn't too sure. He might have played like something like Cindervines or something like that, but I don't really.
Cindervines would have been spice. I can see not having that because of Niv-Mizzet.
Right.
It's already a Cindervine on legs pretty much.
Right, and here I almost pitched this hand. Like, you kind of saw me gesture towards my deck to go.
Yeah, I think it's playable.
Yeah, the problem is they were both tap lands.
Yeah.
Neither one.
But you're both slow in the matchup, so for the first couple turns, like, it's kind of fine.
Right.
I don't think you're gonna waste like a Syncopate for 1 or a negate on a Growth Spiral just in general. You don't have a counter spell, so playing at least doesn't look like it. So playing the Search for Scana,
Right. Yeah.
seems perfectly fine here.
And also no, because I don't have another land. I'm really just trying to.
Yeah, you're trying to make your land drops.
And then I just have to draw the negate because I know that I have to hold up negate for a.
But you're not holding up the negate.
Well, I'm hoping to draw a land. There's my other negate. I'm really sad because I have 1 off-art negate.
Oh, okay.
Because I forgot the 3rd one at home.
Well, here it looks like you're about to get punished.
Yep. And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Like, you can't Nexus this turn, I guess, but.
It looks like he's going to Chemist's Insight for like free. No.
Yeah, I'm pitching a Wilderness Reclamation to hopefully draw a land. And you just see me, I'm just like, oh my god. I just threw 3 negates in a row. Like,
yeah,
definitely. That's cool. But
Yeah, definitely should have left up that negate. I could see where you're coming from, playing that Revitalize, but I probably just would have waited for it. It's way too late.
Right, yeah, no, I definitely got punished for it, and part of it was me trying to play fast because I knew that the clock was running down low.
Yeah, of course. I probably would have slammed Frilled Mystic just to put a bit of a clock in play,
right.
Especially having negate and Expansion Explosion. You're going to win that counter war. You're stuck on lands.
Yeah, and I'm counting his lands going, does he have enough to, like, just Nexus at his end step in response? He does, and I'm like, I gotta take the risk, right?
Yeah, I probably would have Nexused in response to this Chemist's Insight. It's just a really good getcha.
Right. Unless he thinks I have Spell Pierce or something, like.
I think he could pay it. If
1, 2, 3,
it depends
4,
when
5.
you did it with the triggers on the stack.
I did it in his end step after the trigger.
After it triggers the resolve.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's understandable then.
Just to make sure that, like, whatever he had was only what he could cast. He wasn't able to float anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the right way to do it. You don't want to have, like, sloppy play.
Yeah, and here I'm probably just going to get punished for casting the negate, right?
Yeah.
Like,
didn't you have another amulet in hand also? worth that much fighting over when you kind of be like you're kind of almost dead to like a Nexus right here.
Right. Yeah. Like, again, I'm just trying to play fast and do it, and essentially I sit here and go, "Can you kill me? I hope you can't." Right.
Yeah.
I just have to hope for like 8.
He drew another one. And looks like a couple lands.
Yeah, no. Definitely just getting punished for every play I made this game and not seeing lands early game.
Yeah.
And
You're
he's
going to
going,
float 9.
I'm like,
hit you for 16.
yeah. Essentially,
he
I was
even
just
had
like,
another Nexus and a growth spiral.
Right. Yeah, I was like, "Do you have Explosion in hand?" And he's like, "Yeah," because I was counting his mana as he was doing everything. I'm like, "You have enough to Explosion me for like more than 12."
Yeah.
And I'm tapped out. So do you have it? And he goes, "Yeah, here, I'll show you." And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I lose." Like,
yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Second week in a row, I lost to him playing Nexus because the week before he was playing Nexus Gates.
Okay. Gates Ablaze is a real card, man.
Yeah.
The Ram is out of control.
Right.
And the Colossus is a nightmare for all the control decks.
Yeah.
The Angel that gains you 2 life per gate in combination with the Gates Ablaze 2 late game versus the aggro decks is also really hard to overcome. So
yeah, no, it should be a pretty good game for me. Actually, I should be like pretty well positioned against them.
Yeah, because they're like a turn behind.
Right, exactly. And yeah, no, I was when he was going off, I just could not see a counterspell. I dug through like 10 cards and could not see a counterspell in like game 2. And at that point, I had only cast like 1 counterspell that game, and it was on the whatever the card is where like whenever you play put a gate into ETBs, you draw a card.
Yeah, infinite draw card enchantment.
That was the only thing I countered that whole game, and I countered that with a negate. So I still had 4 absorb, 2 negate, 2 syncopate, and a devious cover up left in my deck. And I dug through 10 cards and didn't see a single one.
That's just unfortunate.
Right, and I like left up 3 mana every time. I'm like, gotta draw one of them, right? And yeah, he just kept doing Nexus, and I'm just like, lose. Like, but we will be back next week for more Standard. So see you guys later.
All right, guys, take it easy.